You have to have discipline to snowboard. To be good, like you have to be motivated, and you have to have self-discipline, and that is a process that is learned. And as you're snowboarding more and more, you see like, okay, like I can be lazy and get by, or I can really be motivated and really have self-discipline and just make sacrifices and get up early and go snowboarding, and that's when you get the rewards. You know, when I was 14 years old, I was traveling to Finland and Japan and learning things about life that you don't learn in school. I learned a lot about the world. I mean, just about the way life works, you know, traveling, you know, like to do that at like such a young age is just like, it's really cool. It was a blessing and something that set me at a different, you know, spot in my whole life.
The Jackson family in general, they are very family oriented, you know, and I appreciate that, and they have a respect for each other. You know, they're not scared to hang out with their dad or their mom, or they love their family, and that is very true on the mountain too. And John and Eric are together, you know, they're like working together, and they're helping each other out, they're giving each other pointers, you know. And
growing up in Crowley, it's still my favorite place in the world, I gotta say. These mountains, the place has so much character. I mean, having the resort and access to be able to just go train, it was just having fun. We were addicted.
He's 4 years older than me, so obviously I'm the younger brother wanting to do what big brother does, you know, and you know, I always have looked up to him, not only snowboarding, but just the way I live.
And Jack was a classic kid. He's gung-ho about everything.
Mammoth at that time was pretty much the mecca, you know, like Danny Cass was down there, you know, Matt Hammer, and that was when their park started really taking off, you know.
And at that time, there was a bunch of kids their age that just got so influenced by snowboarding that there was a great scene.
I took so much of what I learned riding in that terrain park to just the mountains and riding in natural terrain.
I remember seeing him in the magazine, so there was a LibTech ad of him at Mount Hood, and then underneath it said like, and he's only 14.
When UC and Travis and Jess and those guys left to go do robot food, like Tanner Films was looking for new guys. It was hard for a new kid to break into that scene.
And then as the years just progressed, working with John, Eric kind of just slowly integrated into the crew.
The analogy could be like you're this kid playing basketball, you're down the street, and all of a sudden you're playing for the Lakers.
And they had a lot of respect for the backcountry, and they were definitely, you know, listened to what we said, and they were very eager to learn and totally cool to hang out with.
He was more into the mountain than he was into just building a wedge and jumping it. One of the first kids at that age, for sure, to get that side of snowboarding, you know?
I owe a lot to them for where I am in my snowboarding career right now, because they really took me under their wing.
Those first couple of years, it was really like John was kind of the guy, you know? Eric at that time was kind of in his shadows.
And then John just freaking went to the next level.
When John was just winning all those awards and having like just these insane seasons, and me being laid up on the couch and seeing that, like that motivated me like tenfold.
When he was hurt, he went through a tough time.
And then not be able to film, I could just tell he was really, really frustrated.
I remember actually getting like kind of burnt out on snowboarding when I was like 18 to 20. Was like, I wasn't really like super motivated, and I definitely took it for granted, you know?
Maybe he was getting a little content with just where he was at.
Whereas when you get hurt and you see it taken away from you, then you're like, whoa, okay, like, do I love doing this, and do I really want to continue doing this? And you do everything you can to get strong.
It's like you can let an injury take something from you, or you can take something from your injury.
In that particular time in my life, it took getting hurt to realize how much I love snowboarding. You know, it takes a special eye to read the mountain. It's not an easy thing to do, you know. That takes a lot of time, a lot of training your eye, you know, and it's the same thing as fishing, is like how you're gonna fish this river or this run, you know. Every section is different, and you have to read the water, where it's fast, where it's slow, you know, like see the boulders underneath the water and like kind of know where the fish are gonna be holding, and that's just like comes in practice, you know. It just comes with time. It's not something that you just wake up overnight and not really necessarily caring if you catch a fish or get a shot in the mountains, you know. It's like, it's not really about that at the end of the day, you know. When shit's hitting the fan in life, you can really just shut it down in nature and just reset everything, and I think that's why I love it so much. And even before I was hurt, you know, my sponsor at the time was giving me a lot of pressure, just basically saying that they didn't like the way that I was riding. I had just come off opening part in Estetica, and I was so proud of that part. And I feel like they weren't even like impressed at all. And after that season, they basically told me that I need to step up my riding and I need to, you know, be more freestyle and be more progressive, basically telling me that I need to go do a bunch of tins and double corks and whatnot.
If he had one more year getting hurt, it definitely could have been, maybe been over for him.
He had a 1-year contract the year that he wrecked his ankle, I believe. So then he blew it out again, he wrecked it again. Then he got a 6-month contract. I mean, 6 months, that's winter. So either do it this winter or adios to your lifestyle, to your identity, you know. Most people can't relate to that kind of pressure. That's crazy.
You know, I had that pressure on me, and then on top of that had these injuries, and you know, it was really hard, you know. I was getting like pay cuts. My contract was up and I got a 6-month contract. That's saying do good or be gone.
I hated to think that way. He should shoot with another crew for a season, and maybe he'll like snap out of it and get a sick part and not be caught in like a rut with us.
I'd been with Standard for so long, and you know, that was not an easy thing for me at all. And it just worked out that there was a spot for me to go start filming with people, and that was just the way the cards fell.
It was finally his year where he didn't have those injuries and stuff like that holding him back.
You see pro snowboarders, oh yeah, some dude, he's flying through the air, yeah, whatever. This is what it really looks like. Here's a dude in some crappy rental house in some dirt road in Squamish, sleeping on a mattress and waking up at 5 o'clock every morning and riding a sled out in the clouds.
The year he came out with Video Part of the Year, he was like, I'm growing a beard, I'm living in the woods, and I'm just focusing on riding.
His goal was to just camp up there and not leave the whole winter, and he pretty much did it.
In my situation, you know, there was basically people not supporting me, people not believing in my snowboarding, and I came to a point where it had nothing to do with anybody else. It was for me. You know, it was, I am confident in my snowboarding. I know I can snowboard. I got all these people telling me that I can't. That was at a point in my life where I needed to be confident. And it wasn't me saying that I was better than anybody else. It was for me saying that, like, I need to assure myself that I am ready and that I am good at snowboarding. And that's what I mean when I say, I know I'm a good snowboarder. You know, it was a mindset going out there being like, you're telling me that I can't snowboard, but I know that I can.
Zig when you should have zagged and have just a couple bad things happen and just your career can be over.
This award is not also, it's given not on how well you ride, but how many times you've avoided death in one season.
It was my goal just to be nominated. It wasn't even like to win.
To win a Trans World Riders Poll award is really prestigious in snowboarding. I mean, the video part of the year, that's the holy grail of being a pro snowboarder. You get that, you're the man.
Super nervous, of course. You know, never been nominated for anything before, and yeah, when they called my name, it was a really special feeling. You know, I'll never forget it. You know,
he came up against a huge movie to do that, and he did it.
It was a big one because Art of Flight came out that year with Travis, and you know, that was obviously the mega movie of the millennium.
For Eric to emerge from an independent video against monstrosity that was The Art of Flight, I mean, it just really shows like the level that he was riding at, and I think the other riders recognized it, and I think that carries more weight than what any crowd or audience could say.
John having won that award for 2 years in a row, the years before, and then little bro taking it, it's a pretty big deal, it's pretty sick.
You know, that was the season that he became not John Jackson's little brother, but Eric Jackson, the guy with the gnarliest video part out. It was the best video part of the year, hands down.
Season filming for Good Luck really put me on that next level of really just showing people that I can snowboard, especially after not snowboarding for 2 years. And you know, now I'm on Adidas with 5 other riders, this tight crew of riders, and there's just so much cool potential for this crew and this team. You know, it's like so much potential for it to grow and for it to be what no other snowboard team or program is like. I just could not be more happy to be a part of it.
Well, he matured through those years, learned all these things, and then now I think he's at that level for sure, you know, but it took a little bit of hard times to get there, you know.
Putting together a video part's almost like that. It's almost a competition with yourself, with your own mind, and not getting hurt in all the elements. I knew he had it, the ability, I just didn't know if he actually had it in his head. So it was cool to see him, you know, mature and step up and get that part.
Yeah, it always seemed to me like Eric kind of had a struggle to like really show everybody what he was. But when shit hit the fan, like that's what this kid was capable of doing, you know? And I think it took that series of events for him to realize that, and now he knows that about himself, I think. And we're gonna see a lot more at it from Eric.
Man, this is like my favorite place to just chill. It's so good. Got the mountain in the backyard and it's just a really nice place to just relax and eat lunch or have coffee, you know, whatever. Catching grasshoppers and such. Oh, damn it. Got one. Sure is fun, you know, just backyard. Dude, we could go golfing.